Welcome to another podcast episode by Oliver Adams. Most people call me the coach. Today I have with me the one and only superstar of real estate, the person that goes out in the streets and really meet people where they are, Mr. Dante Smith. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, boss. How you doing, coach?
I'm doing pretty good. Now, Dante, we're going to have a conversation now. Let me tell you where we're located. We're located in this office at Stonecrest, right?
Yes.
And you service everything from the center of the city through Stonecrest through Covington, correct?
That's right.
And how's business?
This is actually amazing right now. I'm seeing that the market is shifting, it's moving. Interest rates are shifting kind of where we want them to be. They came down, they're kind of going back up, but there's a lot of new programs that are on the market that can really help people.
But see, here's the thing people don't know about. These programs are the bedrock of being able to get these first-time home buyers or seasoned up or down purchasers in position in order to be able to purchase home. Now, I notice you're doing a lot of open houses. Why?
Well, open houses exposes not only the home that needs to be sold, but it also exposes who are actually really truly interested or out here eagerly looking for their next home. So I get an opportunity to meet and inform individuals with new information that they might not know, and also find the people that are actually doing this without a realtor, which is scary, because why would you want to go to court without representation? Why would you want to go purchase a home without representation?
Well, you know what? The two part of that conversation is the open house allows the consumers to come in and get a view and have a discussion with a professional like you. So you're right. Why do people actually, and this is a question to the audience, why would you want to indulge in the biggest decision-making purchase process in your life without right representation? Do you see a lot of people out there trying to, perform surgery on themselves?
Pretty much. It's about 83% of people that are walking through the door don't have representation.
So if they don't have representation, they really not tied in. So they're making a big decision, not knowing what's really going on, and they may be throwing their money in the air. So what tip or what strategy would you recommend?
Keep coming to open houses, look for mine, but definitely seek out a professional. I hear a lot of people are leveraging Zoom. I think that's a great place to start as a home buyer, but you want to get connected to a realtor. I would recommend coming to somebody that's with Better Homes and Gardens.
Okay.
Come inside one of the 28 offices that we have. Stonecrest is a great one to find me, or Covington. Shameless plug, but
there's never shame about plugging yourself. One of the things I like about you is that there's no shame in your game. We was talking one day and he was telling me that, closed mouths don't get fed. And homeowners don't get bread if they don't discuss the aspect of home ownership. Now, have you noticed so many restaurants out there and people are eating, they're balling, they're having a lot of fun, and a lot of these folks are not homeowners. What is your thoughts about that?
So I'm noticing with me actually teaching financial literacy as well, Coach, I noticed that a lot of people are overspending in areas and not making the necessary moves to save themselves more money. You save a lot more money when you can cook at home. You can save a lot more money when you own that home instead of paying rent. You're paying somebody else's mortgage. And when you think of it in that aspect, I feel like it gives you a different area, a different place to sit at. And you're like, okay, maybe I need to rearrange some things. A lot of people don't understand that the equity that builds between the brick and the sheetrock, if you will, is money that you can use later on. And we're building legacy, not for ourselves, but for our legacy. But what are you going to leave? It's inevitable that we're going to pass away at some time. How are we going to be remembered? We have a begin date, an end date, but that dash in the middle, I don't think people are really thinking about making that count.
I remember the time, I'm a little older than you, not by much, but I remember the time when people used to say, I was the first person in my family that went to college and got a degree. I remember people say, I used to be the first person in my family that owned a home. See, home ownership today is becoming very unattainable because so many rules, regulation, and the buy-in. So if there's programs out there and that you're providing them, what would you say to a person that are overindulging on what we consider to be non-essentials? And how do you tell them to stay focused on the prospect of being a homeowner and some of the things they need to cut back on in order to make this dream a reality?
I would tell them to do what I did because I believe in being a product of the product. First place to start is with a budget. If you don't have a sheet of paper, go to your bathroom mirror. It's probably the even better place to do this. Get in a dry erase marker and write down all the bills that you currently have and guesstimate. You don't have to be perfect here. That's where people mess up. And just write those down. Tally it up, divide that number by 30, and that's how much it really costs to be yourself. But you probably still need to consult with a professional so we can show you the areas that you kind of missed. I always notice people always miss their recreation. Ooh. They forget that they like to go out to the club, or they forget that they like to go to the movies, or they forget that date night, or they forget that they get a girl the money to go get their nails done. Whatever it is that you like to do, we need to know what that is so we could see those numbers. When I did it, Coach, I found $600 every month that I was throwing out there.
Wow.
So when I was able to dial that back, it actually gave me what I needed to launch myself in a better direction so I could do the businesses that I want, and eventually landed me in real estate.
Well, a lot of folks don't guesstimate their expenses because they feel as though they make this kind of money and they deserve it. I own it to myself. Nobody should be able to tell me how much I'll be able to spend. And we call that disposable income. And with disposable income, they don't track the income. So the expenses sometimes, when you go back to look again, you say to yourself, whoa, where did my money go? I thought I had this amount of money, then it kind of dissipated based upon, habits. Habit of going out to eat, going out to lunch, going out and things of that nature. I remember before I got married, I was tracking somewhere around $1,800 a month on my AMX card for eating out. And I'm like, yo, where's this coming from? And listen, that racks up pretty fast. Have you been to one of these brunch spots?
Oh, brunch in Atlanta, you already know.
I mean, you're talking about a waffle and a chicken might be $20, $25. Let's make this fun. Now, you tell me, you're the social media expert. I see folks now going out in groups, and everybody's negotiating who's going to pay the bill. And I saw this one skit on social media where the guy had his family with him, and all the young ladies said, well, you a man, you need to pay. So you're out there networking. What is this all about?
It's leverage, but they're leveraging in my opinion, the wrong area. Like, you decided to come eat, you need to have that budget for what you want. It's not his responsibility, it's not her responsibility. When you have a seat at the table, you need to be able to move forward. But I like that you brought up that analogy, because I use that same analogy with home ownership. You want to go out to eat and you want something, but what happens when it's time to pay the bill? You want a home, and with FHA, they're only asking you to pay 3.5%. So if the bill came to $1,000, the bank is covering $965, and you only asked for $35, but that's too big of a number for you. But if you run that budget back, Coach, it'll show you where those missing pockets are.
But see, that's pain. People don't like the feeling of pain, meaning that a budget for some folks are scary.
Okay.
Right? And they says, okay, then what's the best way to wrap my mind around this? One thing I've learned over the years, so many automated programs out there that people can utilize to be able to get a grip of it. But I like how you said the mirror aspect, the piece of paper, but what I learned more than anything else, you take those credit cards, put them in a plastic bag, you freeze it, and then you put it in the freezer so it's not easily accessible. That's a form of a habit. That's a form of a discipline so that people can work on getting where they got to go. I would advocate this, and I need your help. If I know this is May 2024, and I want to be in a home by the end of the year, let's say worst case scenario, I want to be in a home by May 2025, and I'm going to feel a little pain. Should they come see you now or wait till next year to come see you?
Oh, definitely now.
Why?
Why? Because we can ease the pain.
How so?
Well, by looking at where you are, give you a clear strategy, a roadmap. When you want to go somewhere, you always use what? A GPS. You type in Google Maps, you type in Waze.
That's right.
If you leverage that tool, now you're set for the right path. I love the fact that you brought that up, because I kind of always chuckle inside, Coach, when somebody says, oh, I'm working on something to get a home. I'm like, well, what are you working on? I'm just working on it. They don't have a clear path, and we know it. And that actually hurts me. It causes pain in my heart, because I have this wealth of knowledge and I'm trying to give it to you, and you won't take it, and it doesn't cost anything to come sit down and get the information. So yeah, you got to come see us now.
Yes.
So you can plan ahead, and you can ease the pain of getting to 2025 May and finding out that nothing you did was right, or didn't put you that much closer, or even what I see a lot of times is they hurt themselves in that process because they're paying for things that they didn't even need to pay for.
Exactly. Overindulgence. This is about, it seems like it's financial literacy, but in all actuality, these are action steps to get you to home ownership. Now, what if a person doesn't have a desire to be a homeowner? They just want to be forever a renter.
I think that's wise.
They want to be a renter. I don't want to buy a home. I want to be a renter. That's wise.
In different aspects, it depends on who you consult with. I don't recommend that you always be a renter, but if you're always going to be a renter, why not be a renter from yourself? That's a business technique and a tax strategy as well. And that's why I say that. But on top of that, be an investor. Take the money that you're receiving and put it back into yourself. We always want. I saw it. It was in a book I was reading. How Money Works. Don't be a sucker. It was just stating that the wealthy always say. Well, the rich people are always talking about. I'm sorry. The poor mindset individual is always saying something like, "I want to work hard for my money so I can save it." Whereas wealthy individuals say, "I worked hard for my money, so now my money needs to work hard for me."
That's true.
And if we can just show you that it really is a simple technique that you really put in play, so that by May 2025, you have a shift in your dynamics, not just in your finances, it'll give you other opportunities. Sometimes I think individuals that also say that, sometimes, and this is my personal opinion,
Okay.
but maybe it's that they don't know the other part. Because we know that there's a lot of ways to build wealth, and we know that everybody doesn't want the same thing, but money is kind of somewhere up there next to oxygen, wouldn't you
Yeah,
agree?
it's way up there now. Not only is it up there in the oxygen, and people say it don't make a difference how much you make. Everybody touches money in one way, shape, form, or fashion. So you got time, you got money, right? And what you do with money over time has everything to do with the outcome. So if home ownership right now in the Metro Atlanta is affordable, why not go for it? Why not say to yourself, you know what? I do have a goal. I want to be a homeowner. I definitely need a consultation. What are these action steps? And I think contacting you and folks at your level to be able to have these conversations is definitely the right start. So give them your contact information so they can know how to reach you.
Direct access, 470-475-5831. If you want to do a little verification, you can find me on Instagram at ADOSE, like medicine, ADOSE of Dante, DONTE. You can find me on Facebook at Dante Smith. You can also find me on the web. My website is dante.smith. Nope, I take that back. That's email. dante.smith@metrobrokers.com. Or you can also find me at my website at dantesmith.metrobrokers.com.
So there's a lot of ways to reach out to him, and then maybe in your local community you have somebody there. But at the end of the day, we advocate and we recommend that you see a professional. Again, let's not operate on yourself. Let's not try to figure this out on yourself. If there's resources that's available to you, and you know as the coach, you can reach me at any time, and I'll point you in the right direction. But now is the time. This is May 2024. I know 2 years from now this will be over, and will probably be the same valid recommendations that people can use to start now, because age kind of transcends time. So if you're 20 years old, you got a job, you can still buy a house, or you can plan to buy a house. But I would say start today. Utilize my man Dante. He's a great resource, and he do not mind going out to these houses, and you'll see on his social media that he's everywhere. So what would you want to leave the audience with, Dante?
Start today, don't wait till tomorrow.
Say no more. Again, this is Oliver. Most people call me the coach. Talk your truth.